US President Donald Trump has ordered the immediate restart of American nuclear testing, calling it appropriate for the US to resume as other nations continue their own programs. Trump said the move comes as part of wider talks with Russia on what he called denuclearization, but added that with others testing nuclear arms, the United States must act too. Trump's decision to restart nuclear weapons testing follows a rapid expansion by China of its nuclear stockpile in recent years and came just after Russia announced what it called a successful test of a nuclear-powered and nuclear-capable cruise missile, as well as a nuclear-powered torpedo. The decision marks a dramatic shift in US nuclear policy, ending a 33-year pause since the last American test in 1992. We're now joined by Dr. Wael Awad. He's a Middle East affairs expert and he joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Dr. Awad. It's a pleasure to have you on the program and to speak to you as always. Dr. Awad, 33 years since the United States last tested its nuclear weapon, and today Donald Trump has announced that it will be commencing it once again. What message is Trump sending to the world here? Is it deterrence or provocation?
Well, I think it is timed it wrongly because he tried to give a jittery movement to Xi Jinping while he's meeting him in China, in South Korea, the Chinese leader, and that's why they wanted to tell the Russian as well that the America will commencing its own nuclear testing. It's not going to be an immediate one, but definitely it's an indication that we are also heading for another period of Cold War with the nuclear race between the superpowers. And I think that is unnecessarily done, but America actually is worried about the Chinese. They are piling their nuclear capabilities, they're increasing. And also the Russian, where the Russian president also declared about this torpedo rocket, which is one of the most sophisticated weapons in the world currently, as per the Russian claiming. So therefore, I think it's a very strong message from the American president that he still have the guns. Maybe other people have the key for the stability and market stability and economic issues, but the Americans still have the guns to settle the issues in the world.
Dr. Awad, how might Gulf and Middle Eastern states react to this? More alignment with Washington or deeper anxiety about US unpredictability?
Well, I think most of the people in the Middle East knows that, the American consider the GCC country as the custodian for the American, and that's why they're providing them with the nuclear, with the protections from other, that they have the maximum deal with the Arab countries, especially the GCC, in terms of guns and selling them arm and ammunition. And you remember that American president, in his last visit to the region, he collected more than $4.5 trillion and he went to the United States. So having said that, I said after the attack on Qatar, there's a new arrangement also there. So the Arab world is reacting very, I don't say that very cautiously on this. It's not much of a change, but what worries us is mainly the undeclared nuclear state, which is Israel for us, which is having the only country in the world have the nuclear and nobody talks about.
Yes, Dr. Awad, do stay with us here on NewsX World. We have further updates coming our viewers' way. The United Nations nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Agency, otherwise known as the IAEA, is now carrying out inspections in Iran, but not at the 3 sites bombed by the United States in June. The agency's chief, Rafael Grossi, has confirmed. Grossi has said that they are not inspecting the stricken sites and they are in discussion with Iran. He has added that the IAEA does not see any substantive work going on in the region. Let's take a listen in to what the IAEA chief has said.
We are trying to build it back, and we are inspecting in Iran, not at every site that we should be, doing it, but we are gradually coming back. We are not inspecting the stricken sites, Natanz, Isfahan and Fordow, to be very, very clear. We are in discussion with Iran. We do not see anything that would give rise to hypothesis of any substantive work going on there.
We're once again joined by Dr. Awad. Dr. Awad, the IAEA chief says these inspectors haven't seen any work inside of the Iran's facilities that they have been allowed in. Do you interpret that as reassurance, even though they haven't seen, they haven't been allowed into those 3 sites that were bombed by the United States, like Fordow, Isfahan, and Natanz?
Well, I think the Iranians have made it very clear for the International Atomic Nuclear Agencies that they are no longer interested in talking to them after the American bombardment and the Israeli bombardment of the nuclear sites, that the IAEA has played on the hand of the American, in fact, and bombing these things without even condemning the American action. Now, therefore, they said there is no longer required. However, the pressure coming from European country and the American now on Iran to come back into the nuclear deal with them and to talk about allow the inspection have made them open to allow the visit of the agency representative into their site. But there is no activity at the moment taking place because, you know, the attack was posed extensive damage to these places where the Iranians are trying to rebuild. But I think the reconciliation from the agency with the Iranian authorities is very much on the card, and they wanted to make sure that they will be allowed again to enter, because Iran does not want it to go under the sanctions now, expanding again to the European, which is falling in the American hand. But they wanted to make sure that their nuclear program continue to be a peaceful and civilian program.
Yeah, and Dr. Awad, why does Tehran not want the United Nations nuclear inspection body to have access to these sites that the United States bombed earlier this year?
I think because the trust factor has been missing after the American bombardment, and I don't think they are willing to allow them to do the inspection because America even are unable to assess the damage they have caused, despite the fact that most of the satellite pictures the Americans have provided and the Israelis say that there was extensive damage have happened to these places. But the Iranian says that not much of a damage happened, but definitely there is a trust factor is missing between the two, and I think it will take some time before the Iranian come in terms with the international nuclear agencies, because the inspectors are not abiding by the charter they are supposed to do on that basis, according to the Iranian.
But of course, the United Nations is supposed to be a bipartisan player in this. It is not supposed to stand with neither Israel or the United States. Why is Iran restricting Rafael Grossi and the IAEA from inspecting those sites?
But do you think that the UN is doing its own jobs? Are they adhering to the charter of the UN that they're doing their jobs? Absolutely not. They are basically an agent of the American and the West. They're not even applying 1% of what their job is supposed to be done. Having said that, it has been done in Iraq, and we all know how the Americans deceived the world opinion by saying that Iraq having a nuclear weapon, and unilaterally and went and occupied and invaded Iraq and destroyed and killed more than 1 million Iraqi. The same thing they have done for Libya. And I don't think anybody is fool enough that the Iranian will be taken for a ride by the American again. And unlike also the North Korean, what they have defied the American dictate on these issues. So I think there are people in the world who recognize that the international body is being compromised and used by certain power for their own political objectives.
Okay, Dr. Awad, thank you very much and for joining us. Pleasure to have you on the program, and thank you.